Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Pre-market report. And people, I'm telling you, we're being set up. We are being set up. What am I talking about? Look, man, let's start off with this. So, no surprise, I don't believe to a single person that follows this blog. We got central banks working in concert to artificially suppress rates. It's not going to stop. This means currency devaluation. It means everything's going to become more expensive as the currency is sucked dry of its purchasing power. We're on the same page. So let me just show you a couple of headlines. So right off the bat, the ECB did cut rates along with a surprise cut from the Swiss National Bank. Why is this a shocker or a surprise to anyone? Honestly, it's not going to stop. The mechanism here is in place, but it gets worse than that. Just bear with me for a minute. So this was yesterday, as you all know. So the Bank of Canada cut rates 50 basis points. The Swiss National Bank, this surprise cut of 50 as well. Now, the European Central Bank cut just 25, but also, in case you don't know, this is their fourth consecutive cut. So just do the math. And they're not done. Now, we're going to hear from the illustrious Federal Reserve come next week. I said that it was my opinion at the time that the Fed would have a very difficult time justifying cutting rates because inflation, people, by their own numbers, we just got yesterday, all right, continues to rise, all right. Now, I just can't handle this stuff sometimes. How any central banks would literally control inflation? There's two ways to do. Well, there's more than this, but let me just the two big ways they could stop it in its tracks: contract the money supply, which they're ballooning it, and they could dramatically raise rates, which would, of course, give purchasing power to the currency. But that can't be allowed to happen because you and me, they got us by the throat here. And they're not going to stop squeezing until they cut off our air supply. You understand? And a lot of this is, again, the puppets that have been selected to sit behind, let's say, the Resolute desk and other positions of power around the world. Now, I believe on the back of what we've just witnessed here with a series of cuts here, the Fed is going to follow suit next week. That's my take on this right now, despite the fact that inflation continues to rise. And we were told it was temporary and we are transitory and everything else that they've thrown at us that has been absolutely false. Now, let me show you something real quick. On the back of all these big announcements today with central banks easing, it's kind of interesting. Let me show you something that you're never going to see, but I want you to pay attention to little subtleties here. This headline from Reuters: Europe eases with Swiss to price. Eases. They don't use this word anymore. Easing, quantitative easing. When a central bank creates cash out of nothing to buy the debt, which is obviously purchasing power negative for the currency, it's called quantitative easing. But you don't hear this word being used because this is the same wording during the so-called financial crisis, the meltdown of '08, for which we are in one now. But you wouldn't know that by looking at the stock market, NASDAQ hitting 20,000 for the first time ever yesterday. But this mechanism here it's called quantitative easing. You're not allowed to know that. You don't believe me? That's what it's called. But again, people don't know these things. They're not allowed to know these things. There's a whole agenda that's obviously going on under the table to destroy us all, to wipe out the economy of the world. Now, on the back of these events here, you got futures right now a little bit lower across the board, nothing major. You got gold and silver under pressure. Imagine our shock. This is not going to stop people. I'm telling you right now, gold and silver commodities are going to underperform in this environment of artificially suppressed rates. And if we get negative rates, which looks highly likely to me, and we'll talk about that in a second, you're not going to believe what's going to happen. But let's move forward here. Bitcoin over 101,000. Crypto's looking pretty good across the board. The mechanism here of making the United States the crypto capital of the world, making sure rates remain artificially suppressed, possibly even negative rates, and I want to talk about that in a second, because I've been telling you this for quite a while, but I want you to start paying more attention to this. Anyway, the mechanism is going to shove cash into the stock market. It's going to shove cash, push it right up into the 1 and 2 percenters. Cryptocurrencies going much higher. There's more talk of selling gold, U.S. gold reserves to buy Bitcoin. Could you imagine our shock here? This was Trump's pick, by the way. This Cynthia, whatever the freak her name is. Oh, look, these things are put in there for a reason. You weren't told about this during the run-up to the campaign. What you were told during the run-up to the selection was propaganda. It was all a mind psyop to keep you guys and girls into believing that a politician really has your best interest in mind. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. I've been saying that the reason why Trump was selected was two prime reasons. Number one, to bridge the system. Okay, he hated Bitcoin. He was completely against it, called it every name under the sun that you can imagine. Now all of a sudden, he's the cryptocurrency god. To those people, and look, I am a cryptocurrency holder. I'm going to be honest, a lot of Bitcoin and other assets as well. With regard to cryptocurrencies, I own at least 7 different ones here. Okay, I'm a big advocate of that. You all know that. But I don't like the system being bridged into this new tokenized system. It's a danger of epic proportions. You all know that. But Trump, his 180, no secret here. This was done by design, working with the Federal Reserve now to bring about their new system. It's all about control. You all know that. Now, that was the first reason, to bridge the system. They needed a guy who would help them do this, and they got the guy to do it. Period. The end. Number two, Trump is an advocate of negative rates. How do we know that? Well, let me just show you a headline from September 11th, ironically. This is 2019. Trump reverses course, seeks negative rates from Fed, calling them boneheads because he was not going negative. The Fed was not going negative with rates. Again, this does not help you. It would have surely boosted the stock market. But what negative rates actually means is you have to pay the banks to keep your cash in there for the privilege of it here. We already know that artificially suppressed rates, forget about zero or negative at this point. Let's just talk about where we are right now, is massively currency purchasing power negative and an economic wrecking ball. Could you only imagine what would happen if we have negative rates? Well, ask our European friends. How did it work out for you guys? You guys got decimated. But this is likely going to happen here in the United States. And this is the second reason why Trump was chosen. There was no election. Not one of your votes counted. Not one. They knew who was going to be president before that. They already know who the next president is going to be. You know that? And the one after that. Nothing is left to chance here. But the two reasons, just so you know, the real reasons has been unmasked. Why Trump was selected here was to bridge the system to, obviously, look, the dollar is becoming obsolete. Cryptocurrencies is where we're going. As I said, they're even talking about selling gold, U.S. gold reserves, whether it's there or not. Most of you think it doesn't even exist. Okay, whatever. To add cryptocurrency to the U.S. strategic reserves, not gold. Why are we not adding gold? Because that would put up a roadblock to the Federal Reserve. This will not be allowed to happen. The Fed, just as under Trump's last tenure, will be vaulted to the pinnacle of power and then some. You understand? They're the hub, the Federal Reserve. And we're going to see a lot of fallout with regard to the BRICS nations. See, they know what's going on here. The American people have no clue because they've been dumbed down. They've been conquered. It's a conquered society. Anyway, let me just show you what's going on here. So one banker was floated out here, this is today, to tell us, are negative interest rates about to make a comeback? One banker says it's possible. I've been telling you this since Trump, the selection of President-select Trump here. People, come on, man. This is where we're likely going, and we're being set up. Wake up, man. Wake the freak up to reality. Snap out of it, man. We're being destroyed. The economy of the world cannot be. Let me just say this real quick. The world doesn't want our dollars, and world governments around the world, they know where we're going here. Even though Trump threatened the BRICS nations that you better stay in Federal Reserve notes. That's what he said. Stay in the dollar. Otherwise, don't try to get rid of the dollar. Don't try to circumvent the dollar. Well, what are we doing here? We're becoming the crypto capital of the world. They're laughing. So the BRICS nations, they're saying, really? You want to hit us with 100% tariffs? Go ahead. No one wants your dollars or anything else you're going to produce anyway. And with regard to making America great again, with regard to making products here, how about Trump's guitars? They're not even in the United States of America, man. He's having them made overseas. They're the ones profiting from. How is that making America great again? Imagine if an American guitar company got that contract to make Trump guitars. And the fallout that Trump's having to deal with because of this is unbelievable. Even getting sued by Gibson, by the way, an American guitar company. Guitars are being made overseas. Imagine our shock, but we're going to make America great again. By doing that, this is the guy you guys think is going to save the economy. The guy who wants negative rates, he was chosen for that. You know this, people. Wake up, man. You can't be that stupid or that dumbed down. I understand you're conquered. Not those of you that follow this blog. America has been taken over. We've been conquered. We've been divided and therefore conquered. It's over here. No one wants our dollars. We're being pushed out of the dollar anyway here, becoming the crypto capital of the world, not the constitutional money capital. Does this make you want to puke? Makes me want to puke. But this is what you voted for, right? Because your votes really counted. Are you starting to wake up? Are you starting to finally wake up to what's happening here? So not only are we being bridged into this new system, and that's why Trump was selected, we're also obviously being pushed into a negative rate environment. And this is going to vault the stock market to heights you can't even believe. And you're going to pay for it all. Where does all the wealth come from? When the wealth is being shoved up to the 1% and 2%ers, it should be going in your pocket. Do you realize that the mechanism here of artificially suppressed rates, forget about negative rates, has stolen trillions of dollars of wealth that would be in your pocket via an interest earning account? I'm talking about collectively here. You've been robbed blind. And have you stood up for yourself? No. What do? Wherever you live in the world, when a central bank is cutting rates like they are now, robbing your purchasing power away, stealing interest that you could be earning on an interest account, you're doing nothing, right? You're doing nothing, right? Just like they expected. They don't expect you to push back. They don't expect any pushback from this. Henceforth, why? We're probably more than likely going to get negative rates, man. This is why Trump was selected. As we're bridged into this new system that you all voted for, of course, right? You thought that Trump was a constitutionalist? Really? You really thought so? That's why we're being made the crypto capital of the world. The bing, bing, bing. Is a bell going off here? Not a constitutionalist whatsoever. He's the crypto king. And we're not adding gold. They're thinking about selling it. Let's tell you something. Maybe you're getting clued in. Maybe just a little bit. People, we're being led to our destruction, man, our demise. And people they're just doing nothing about it. Except you and me. At least we're weaponizing the system. What does this mean? What does it mean that central banks are cutting rates? It means it opens up that door wider for cash to make its way into risk assets. The stock market here. It obviously is pushing cash into cryptocurrencies like you can't even believe. And big bank executives, they're foaming at the mouth over this here. This unholy alliance with the banks here being merged with cryptocurrencies, which is the first key to the tokenized system. Are you guys waking up now? Are you starting to see what's going on here, really? Maybe, finally? I know 99% of you get here, but there's still a fraction of you that are so lost and have no clue. We're going to bring back manufacturing to the United States. Everyone's going to want our products. You can't make that up if you tried to. It's beyond the freaking fairy tale here. And Trump telling the world to stay in Federal Reserve notes, supporting the Federal Reserve, obviously. Meanwhile, Trump and the Fed are working into a new system. This tokenized digital system. Maybe. Oh, wow. Oh, no. Boys and girls, man, look, man, what are we going to do? We're going to continue to do what we're doing. If we realize that central banks are going to continue to artificially suppress rates and henceforth devalue the currency, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to stay in this central bank issued notes? Are you going to get out of it, convert that into hard assets like silver and gold, which are units of wealth, not units of debt? This debt-based system is a destructive force unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of the world here. As the rich get richer and richer in this environment, which has been going on now for a very, very long time, the poor are getting poorer and poorer. People, I'm going to tell you again, in case you don't know, it's called the Cantillon effect. Look it up for yourself. It's a wealth redistribution right up to the Elon Musks of the world. Do you understand? You finally understand why they're laughing at you? We're laughing back because we're weaponizing this system. But I hate to see this stuff. Yes, I've been telling you need to be in cryptocurrency for the longest time. We need to sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do here. I've been telling all of you guys for how many years that you need some, at least, cryptocurrency in your portfolio. Even if you hate this stuff. Trump used to hate it. Now he loves it. Now we're being converted from a constitutional money system, which, well, we've been at it for a long time, further and further away from it, into a crypto system. Well, this is going to lead us right into the tokenized system. And that's exactly where we're going. And then, of course, the prospect of negative rates here. And now they're getting a banker here to tell us that's where we're going. I've been telling you this before this freak was floated out. They always tell you what they're going to do. You know it's their playbook. Their playbook dictates that they have to tell you first what's going to happen, and then it does. So what are you going to do about it, people? Are you going to start to stand up for yourselves? I understand that you are by weaponizing the system against those that are trying to destroy us here. But those of you that voted for this, because you did vote for it, right? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to start calling out President-select Trump and tell him you don't want negative rates? Are you going to tell him that you don't want to be the crypto capital of the world, that we should be adding gold and silver to our strategic reserves, not selling them to buy Bitcoin? Come on, man. Oh, Lord, guys and girls. Look, man, this stuff is just too much. It really is. But it's so in our freaking face. Come on. Admit that you were lied to and deceived and distracted. We're not going to make America great again. It can't happen. We're done. The world doesn't want anything to do with us. We're being blackballed around the world, okay, for another term. No one wants our dollars. No one wants our products. Bring back every single factory around the world to the United States. No one's going to want our products. I'm going to tell you right now. It ain't happening. And you can see the mechanism here. War. More war. And this is what they're going to do to allow the system to inflate. Do you understand what negative rates would do to you, to the economy here? The economy of the world is being destroyed systematically, wiped out. Along with that, the middle class, as central banks continue to artificially suppress rates and kill the purchasing power of the currency. This is forced suffering, like I've been telling you is going to happen. You think I'm wrong on this? Let me know what you think. I know that 99% of you can see as clear as day what I see, because it's too easy. Some are lost, and they won't admit that they've been duped and lied to and distracted and deceived in this environment here. What else would you expect of this freaking thing, whatever it is? All right, guys and girls, I'm going to let you go. So I want you to think about what we've spoken about here. Are you ready for what's about to happen? Really, honestly? I don't think so. We're going to get an economic wrecking machine that's going to come through the world economy faster than you can imagine. And people are being wiped in favor of who? The 1% and 2%ers, and they're laughing. They're laughing. As we are transitioning to neo-feudalistic society here. And we're going back to the plantation, just in case you were wondering. That's where they want you. They want to extort as much control out of you as they can possibly get, and then some. You understand? And they want a lot less of us, too. You think this is going to lead to a culling? There was going to be a culling of the world population. You better be ready for that, too. All right, guys and girls, I'm out of here. Love all of you from the heart with all I got. I really hope I'm making sense to you out here. And if not, where I got this wrong. Oh, Greg, you got this wrong. Trump is on our side. He doesn't want negative rates. He's not bridging us into the new system. He's not making us the crypto capital of the world. He's a constitutionalist. We're going back to a sound money system. That's why we're selling gold. People, love you from the heart. I mean that. And we'll see all of you later, 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern for the live stream. Okay, I really hope to see you there. With that, please take care of yourselves and each other.